Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to get into Module 3C. And in this module, we're going to learn about how we can build a minor scale and also talk about the three kinds of minor scales. So previously in the major scale, we only have one form of major scale to deal with, but in the minor case, we actually have three different kinds. So let's get started. All right, in minor scale, minor diatonic scale, I'm intentionally adding this word diatonic just to remind you that you're not to repeat any of the letter names and also not to skip any letter names. All right, you have to use each of the 7 letter names at least once. Well, actually, I should say you should use all of the letter names, but only use them each once. Okay. So just like the major scales, minor scales are based around a pattern of whole steps and half steps. And here's a base pattern. So in minor, this is going to be whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Okay, and if you're a number person, there's 1, half, 1, 1, half, 1, 1. Same thing. Okay, so now let's first look at C sharp minor. Okay, same thing. So just remember whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Let me just write it down here. Whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. I personally like to use the brackets and the triangles. I just feel that it's a lot more intuitive. Okay, anyways, if we're looking at C sharp minor, that's this one that we're looking at, from C sharp to the next C sharp. So that's these keys. Okay, first step, we want to start from C sharp and on the next C sharp, and then from here we just fill in the rest. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So remember, we need to put in the pattern. So whole, whole, wait. I'm already making a mistake. I did not even catch. So in this case, it's supposed to be whole, half, whole, whole. Whole, half, whole, whole. Alright, so whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Good, so from C sharp to the next note, a whole step up from C sharp would be D sharp. And then from D sharp to the next one, a half step is going to be E, natural. From E, a whole step up is going to be F sharp. And from F sharp, a whole step up is going to be G sharp. And then from G sharp, this time it's going to be a half step up, A. From A, a whole step up is B. And lastly, we have C sharp. Okay, so we have C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp. So how does it sound on the piano? C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp. So remember how minor keys sound darker and more serious? So this is what we have. That's C sharp minor scale. So let's transfer that onto the staff. So in this case, maybe we can use bass clef. And remember, all cows eat grass, all cows. The second space is going to be C. We have a C sharp, right? From C sharp, the next note is D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, and back to C sharp. Okay, so that is going to be the C sharp minor scale. And once again, how many flats or sharps does this key have? So let's count. We have C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, and then G sharp. Well, C sharp, we're not going to count it again. So not this one. So we have a total of 4 sharps. All right, so remember, C sharp minor has 4 sharps. Do you remember E major that we were looking at previously? E major also has 4 sharps. So maybe there's something between these two guys, E major and C sharp minor. Well, we'll come back to it in another video, but for now, let's move on. All right, now we're going to look at G minor. The process is going to be the same, so I would actually highly recommend you to stop the video and try to do it yourself, and then let's see if we land on the same answers. Okay, so if you feel comfortable enough to try that, please pause the video now, and we'll see each other in about 2 minutes. Okay, so G minor, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start from G and on the next G, right? So these ones, G's. And just have to write in the notes in the middle. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So remember the whole step, half steps? Whole, half, whole, half, whole. So from G, going to A, whole step. From A, a half step up is going to be this guy, the black key, the B flat. From B flat, a whole step up is going to be C. And then from C, a whole step up is D. And from D, a half step up is E flat. And from E flat, a whole step up, this one, going the whole step up is going to be F. And from F, a whole step up is, of course, back to G, right? So if you play this on the piano, this is what you're going to hear. Right? Still sounds pretty dark. All right, anyways, let's write that in on the staff. So this time, let's do treble clef. G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, and then G. So one thing to note is that when you write these accidentals, make sure they're on the same line or space as the note. Okay, so let's say you write this guy, E flat. If you write something like this, that's not good. Okay, make sure that the flat really is on the same line or space as the note itself. Okay, so in this case, how many flats do we have? Well, we see 1, 2. So this guy has 2 flats. The G minor has 2 flats. And again, of course, I designed it this way. So in the previous lecture, we were working on the B flat major, which also has 2 flats. And G minor also has 2 flats. So they would be somehow related. And we'll come to that in the next lecture. Okay, so A minor. This one is going to be similar to C major. So A minor, same thing. Why don't we pause the video and then check at the end. So A minor, same thing. We're going to start from A and on the next A and fill in the rest. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and back to A. And then you want the whole, half, whole. Half, whole. And believe it or not, it's going to be all white keys. Okay? Just saved you 5 minutes. So if you write this on the staff, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and back to A. How many flats or sharps does this key have? 0. Okay? So A minor is very similar to C major. A minor sounds like this. C major sounds like this. A minor. Anyways, so that's basically how you build a minor scale. Now we're going to talk about the 3 minor key forms. So there are 3 types of minor keys. Number 1 is natural minor. This is what you already know. The whole, half, whole thing that we just did. That's called the natural minor. Why natural, because that's the most natural form of minor. Uh, so the second one is harmonic minor, and you see these little up pointing emojis. So this is 7 and then up. Okay, that means you have to raise the 7th scale degree by a half step. Okay, and melodic minor is a little more sophisticated. So on the way up, like if you play the scale in an ascending form, you have to raise the 6th and the 7th scale degrees by a half step. And on the way back down, you have to drop them back to their original position. So we'll talk about that in a second. And just as a side note, the melodic minor scale is the one scale that has both ascending and descending scales. So natural minor, A minor. Well, that's the last example that we saw, right? So A minor, let's say we write it on in bass clef. Well, if you go to the keyboard, it's just going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G to A. Am I singing the right key? Oh, yeah, I am. Okay, so this is A minor. If we transfer that to the staff, it's going to be bass clef, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and sorry, to A. This is A minor. You don't have to do anything. That's correct, okay? All right, now let's look at the harmonic minor. So first, remember whichever kind of minor scale you want to build, you always have to start from the natural minor. Okay, so that's a step that you cannot skip. Well, let's look at what it says here. It says raise the 7th scale degree up by a half step. Okay, but we can only do that after we have our natural minor first. Okay, so let's just write the A minor, A natural minor again. So bass clef, that's going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, back to A. All right, so this is what it sounds like. And the 7th scale degree here, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This G natural here has to be raised by a half step. So a G becomes a G sharp. Okay? So that would be a harmonic minor. Well, in this case, actually, why don't we write it down correctly so that this space up here is just for the natural. So let me just delete the sharp that I wrote here. It's not supposed to be there. Okay, so let's transfer that to this staff below. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp, and then A. So this time it will sound like that's the harmonic minor. Okay, so compared to the natural minor, the harmonic minor is more edgy, right? This is I'm playing scale degree 5, 6, 7, and back to 1. It I don't know, it has this different kind of flavor to it. Okay, so that's harmonic minor. Remember, the 7th scale degree has to be raised by a half step, and that is the harmonic minor. So lastly, we have the melodic minor. This is the only scale, the only minor scale that is different going up than going down. So once again, A natural minor will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And for that very same reason, that, you know, the A harmonic minor is going to be both up and down. I'm just going to write all of these in. Okay, so that's a natural minor going up and down. And just, you know, to save time, let me copy it down here as well. Okay, so the melodic minor requires that on the way up, you raise the 6th and the 7th scale degrees by a half step. And on the way down, you drop them back. So you would drop, the 6th and 7th scale degrees by a half step again. So what are those ones? So 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So it's basically these ones that we have to look at. So on the way up, 6 and 7, raise them by a half step. So that means we have A, B, C, D, E, F. That's a 6th scale degree. F is going to become an F sharp, right? F here is going to go up and become an F sharp. So here, F sharp, and then the G is also going to be raised up a half step. So it will become a G sharp. And then on way down, the G sharp is going to return to G. So remember, in this case, we must write the natural sign. Okay, this is what a natural sign looks like. And that tells you, hey, we're back to the white key. We're not dealing with any of the accidentals anymore. So a natural sign before the G, and also for the F sharp, it has to be dropped back to F natural, right? F sharp dropped back to the F natural. So a melodic minor is going to sound like, and then okay, I'm sorry, there is a typo. This is supposed to be melodic, and I might have been saying harmonic earlier as well. I'm not sure, but yeah, sorry about that. That's my fault. So a melodic minor is going to look like this. Just remember, whenever it says melodic, it has both ascending and descending. And on the way up, you're going to raise 6 and 7 scale degrees by a half step. On the way down, 6 and 7 scale degrees by a half step again, but you would drop them back. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. I think you will be ready for most of the assignments if you are clear about all the things that we talked about today. So I will see you in the next video.